What if tomorrow morning the entire internet disappeared? No Google, no YouTube, no TikTok, no Instagram, no WhatsApp, nothing. At first, most people would think it's just a temporary outage, a small technical problem, something that will be fixed in a few hours. But then, hours become days, and the world realizes something terrifying. The internet isn't coming back. At first, people are annoyed. Messages don't send. Videos don't load. Websites stop responding. Millions restart their phones. They check routers. They call service providers. Everyone expects a solution, but there is none. Because this time, the internet is gone everywhere. Every country, every city, every device. For the first time in decades. Humanity is offline. Then comes the first shock. Social media disappears. No notifications. No likes. No comments. No endless scrolling. Millions of people suddenly lose their daily routine. Influencers lose their audience. Creators lose their platforms. Businesses lose their customers. And people realize something strange. They don't know what to do with their free time anymore. Soon, communication begins to fail. Families in different countries cannot message each other. Businesses cannot coordinate. Remote workers cannot work. Schools cannot run online systems. The world becomes quieter, but not peaceful, uncertain, because for years, humanity depended on instant communication. Now, that connection is broken. Within days, financial systems begin to suffer. Online banking stops. Digital payments fail. E-commerce disappears. Companies lose billions. Stock markets struggle to function. Supply chains slow down, and suddenly, the world economy starts shaking. Not because money disappeared, but because information stopped moving. Rumors spread everywhere. Without online news, people rely on word of mouth. Some believe it was a cyber attack. Others think it was a global disaster. Nobody knows the truth, and uncertainty creates fear. As panic grows, governments struggle to keep people calm. For the first time in modern history, human civilization slows down. Not because of war, not because of disease, but because the system connecting everything has vanished. And humanity begins asking a question it never expected to ask. Can the modern world survive without the internet? At first, losing the internet seemed inconvenient, but humanity is about to discover something far worse. Because the biggest problems haven't even started yet, and what happens next could change civilization forever. A week passes, and the truth becomes impossible to ignore. The internet is not coming back. This is no outage, no maintenance, no temporary failure. The system that connected billions of people has completely vanished. And now, humanity enters unknown territory. Banks are among the first to feel the impact. For years, money moved through digital networks. Payments, transfers, transactions. Everything depended on connectivity. Now, millions cannot access their accounts. Businesses struggle to pay employees. Customers cannot make purchases. And trust in the financial system begins to weaken. Then international trade begins to suffer. Ships continue moving. Planes continue flying. But coordination becomes difficult. Orders are delayed. Tracking systems disappear. Communication slows dramatically. Goods still exist, but the systems managing them are falling apart. And every day, the problem grows larger. Thousands of businesses suddenly lose their foundation. Online stores vanish overnight. Digital advertising disappears. Cloud services stop functioning. Remote teams can no longer collaborate. Some companies adapt. Many do not. And across the world, businesses begin shutting down. Not because they lack products, but because they lost access to customers. Without the internet, News changes completely. People can no longer instantly access information. Rumors spread faster than facts. Confusion increases. Some communities believe one story. Others believe another. And without a global network, the world becomes fragmented. Everyone is searching for answers, but nobody has them. Governments launch emergency plans. Engineers work around the clock. Scientists search for solutions. Leaders address the public. But rebuilding a system this large is not simple. The internet took decades to create. And now, humanity realizes how dependent it became on a technology it barely noticed. People slowly begin changing their habits. They spend less time on screens, more time with family, more time outdoors. At first, it feels uncomfortable, but something unexpected happens. Many people begin noticing things they had ignored for years, the world around them. But while some people are adapting, a much bigger challenge is approaching. Because losing the internet didn't just affect communication. It affected the very structure of modern civilization. And the next phase could determine the future of humanity itself. Months have passed. The internet is still gone. At first, people waited for it to return. Then they hoped. Now, most have accepted reality. The connected world they once knew no longer exists, and a completely different society is beginning to emerge. Without instant connectivity, older methods return. Paper records become important again. Physical maps replace navigation apps. Letters become valuable. Radio becomes one of the fastest ways to share information. Things once considered outdated suddenly become essential, and humanity learns a difficult lesson. Technology was convenience, not survival. Businesses that depended entirely on the internet disappear, but new industries emerge. Local stores become important again. Communities begin supporting nearby businesses. Face-to-face relationships return. Trust becomes more valuable than algorithms. For years, the world focused on digital growth. Now, it is rediscovering human connection. Children born after the collapse grow up differently. They never experience social media. They never know online trends. They never spend hours scrolling through endless content. To them, a world connected by invisible networks sounds almost impossible, like a story from another age. And because they never lost it, they never miss it. Some changes surprise everyone. People spend more time with friends. Families eat together more often. Communities become stronger. Many experience lower levels of digital distraction. Life slows down. Not completely, but enough for people to notice moments they once ignored. For the first time in years, some feel more present, but not everything improves. Scientific collaboration slows down. Global communication remains difficult. Research takes longer. Medical breakthroughs become harder to coordinate. Knowledge still grows, but more slowly. Humanity has gained simplicity, yet it has lost speed, and that trade-off continues to shape the future. Years after the disappearance, people are still debating the same question. Was the internet humanity's greatest invention, or humanity's greatest dependency? Because only after losing something do we truly understand its value. And now, the answer is more complicated than anyone expected. The world survived, but it was transformed forever. And one final question remains. If humanity had the chance to rebuild the internet from the beginning, would it make the same choices again, or create something completely different? 10 years have passed. The internet never returned. An entire generation has grown up without it. For them, the digital age is history, a story told by parents, a memory preserved in books. And yet, the question still remains. Did humanity lose something priceless? Or did it finally regain control of its own life? There is no doubt. Humanity lost something extraordinary. Instant communication, unlimited information, global collaboration. Knowledge once traveled across the planet in seconds. Now it takes days, sometimes weeks. The world is quieter, but it is also slower, and many opportunities that once existed are gone forever. But humanity gained something too. Attention, presence, connection. People spend more time looking at each other, and less time looking at screens. Conversations become longer. Friendships become stronger. Communities become more local. And many begin to realize that convenience was never free. It always demanded something in return. Perhaps the biggest lesson isn't about technology at all. It's about balance. Because technology itself was never the problem. Dependency was. The internet helped humanity achieve incredible things. But over time, many people stopped using it as a tool and started living inside it. When it disappeared, they discovered how much of life had been left behind. Now imagine something remarkable. Scientists finally discover a way to rebuild the internet. A second chance. A fresh start. The entire world celebrates. But this time, people hesitate because they remember what happened before. They remember the addiction, the distractions, the endless noise, and suddenly, the question is no longer how to rebuild it. The question becomes how to rebuild it better. Maybe the new internet would be different. Less focused on attention, more focused on knowledge, less driven by algorithms, more driven by people. Maybe humanity would learn from its mistakes. Or maybe history would repeat itself, because every generation believes it will be different, until it isn't. And that brings us to the final question. If the internet disappeared tomorrow, would humanity become weaker or stronger? Would we lose our future or rediscover ourselves? The answer depends on something deeper than technology. It depends on us, because tools do not define civilization. The way we use them does. So, what if the internet disappeared tomorrow? Perhaps the world would survive. Perhaps it would struggle. Perhaps it would change forever. But one thing is certain. Humanity existed long before the internet, and it would continue long after it. The real question isn't whether we could live without it. The real question is, have we forgotten how?